Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Bunch of Nuts podcast. This is Dan here with Cass, the Cotton Bowl brother. It's upon us. Friday, 7:30, kickoff time. Weird kickoff time. Friday, it just doesn't feel right that we're playing on a Friday. I secretly kind of hope this game gets moved to Saturday
It
at
won't.
noon. I know everyone doesn't want to hear that. They don't want a noon game. I wouldn't hate a noon game. But Buckeyes, they're set to face off against the Texas Longhorns. Cass, the Texas Longhorns are a team you've had ranked highly in the preseason. You've been high on the Longhorns.
Well, I've liked Quinn Ewers since he stepped foot on Ohio
Can't
State's
yeah.
campus. Like, I'm a huge Quinn Ewers fan. Obviously, he hasn't had the career that we all thought he would, but he still had a pretty solid career this year. He's got 29 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, 30 about 3,200 yards passing, and completion percentage 66%. But I think this year compared to last year, where I think he a little digresses, where I think he would have been really good at Ohio State. And let's be real, he came to Ohio State because for NIL money. He was always going to go to Texas. I don't care what anybody says. He was always going to end up in Texas.
Yeah, Rick.
But
This is for Rick Reichert, by the way. This is a Rick Reichert revenge
yeah,
game.
and talent wise, arm talent, unbelievable. I think just with his injuries, not being able to stay healthy. He didn't really start. Sark didn't really develop him either. He's
No,
always kept the same, but he's still a really good quarterback. Talent wise, we even said last week, he's probably number one on
oh, easily.
left over. However, the offensive line, I don't think he has their leading receiver has 936 yards receiving, and that's Golden. And he's got 56 catches. He does spread the ball around. The tight end Helm and Golden, 58 catches and 56 catches. But I mean, he does spread the ball around. I will say that, but he doesn't have Xavier Worthy out there. Like Xavier
No,
Worthy's not out there.
no.
Um,
AD Mitchell. AD Mitchell was unreal last
who
year
are
in
both
play.
having great rookie seasons in the NFL.
Well, AD Mitchell was okay, but
Xavier Worthy's got
Worthy
Patrick
was
Mahomes, dude.
awesome. Yeah, I mean real quick is the top. I'll go through the list of their receivers. Golden, like you said, number one, 56 catches, 936 yards, nine tutties. Gunnar Helm, this is where I'm
Yeah.
concerned. Gunnar Helm, the tight end, 58 catches, 744 yards, seven touchdowns. They like to get him involved early. If you watch the Michigan game, if you watched, a lot of the games, they like to hit him early. It's a
Yeah.
lot of out routes, tight end choice routes. Um,
Second best tight end left in the playoff.
I would say what concerns me is just he's 6'5", he's 240, 250 range, runs pretty well. Ohio State really doesn't have anyone other than maybe like Sonny
Sunny side. Yeah.
that kind of matches up purely with him. Sonny's still, an inch shorter and, probably 20, 30 pounds lighter. Um,
I
I'm curious how we're going to defend him because maybe it's Hancock or I think Lathan could maybe take him.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I agree with you. It's gonna be interesting to see how we cover him.
Uh-huh.
Um, and but also too with this offense, I think with Quinn Ewers kind of degressing, still talented quarterback. Probably one that obviously said talent wise best quarterback
Oh yeah.
available. We're not going to be Samuel Ocho, by the way, and say he's the worst quarterback. We'll get more into
No,
that
yeah,
later.
yeah.
But I think what hurts Texas's offense this year compared to years past is there's no legit threat in the running game.
I agree. I mean, so Blue, I'll give Blue credit. He's kind of their everything. He does a little bit of everything.
He averages almost 6 yards a carry.
He's kind of like their not their TreVeyon, not but like they use him like kind of like that versatile scat back guy who they'll throw to him out of the backfield. He actually has 37 catches, 309 yards, four touchdowns. Um, their other two receivers, well, the other three receivers, it's Isaiah Bond. He's their number two, 33 catches, 532 yards, five tutties.
He's
Uh,
got good talent.
DeAndre Moore is technically listed as a starter over Wingo. DeAndre Moore, 35 catches, 425 yards, 7 touchdowns. He does get in the end zone. Wingo, though, Ryan Wingo, the true freshman, some Texas podcasts have made the claim that he was a better prospect than Jeremiah Smith in the preseason, which is insane to say. But I will give Ryan Wingo credit. He is very fast. He can definitely stretch the field. They have weapons on the perimeter, Texas. There's no denying that. This team has weapons.
Yeah, they do offensively. Defensively, their defensive line's pretty darn good, but their
Yeah.
back end is not. Their back end's not as good. They might be a little bit better in Oregon's
I
back
think
end.
I think their back end, it's really predicated on two guys.
Yeah,
The Thorpe Award winner at the corner and their safety. Because combined, both of them have 10 picks total. It's JD Barron and Andrew Muktuba, 5 interceptions each. I think the rest of their DBs, though, are,
yeah.
not incredible.
And they have two really good linebackers that will get after the quarterback. Sorrell has 5.5 sacks, and Hillinger has 7.5 sacks. And then more, and their linebackers get the sacks. So
Colin Simmons, he's like their edge guy.
as
He,
one
he
has 9 sacks.
9 sacks. He actually won freshman over the year over Jeremiah Smith. We're gonna put that to the test this weekend. We will see that, and we'll see how that goes. Maybe they're right, maybe they're wrong. I don't know, but that's interesting to me.
Yeah, I mean, solid defense. Good defensive line, good linebackers. But what haven't we seen this all playoffs long? We're going to see it again if we get past this round. Every
Yeah,
single team that Ohio State has played is in the top 10 defensive lines in the country.
I will say this: it feels like talent wise, and they were talking about this on 97.1 a couple days ago. But talent wise, this is the closest team that you look across the field and they are the team that left in this playoff that closely resembles Ohio State's
Yeah,
roster. And
yeah,
I'm nervous for this game because I
I am
respect
too.
Texas. I respect what they've done, and I also recognize that they're one of the final four teams remaining. And the crazy part is I don't think Texas has played their best game yet. I don't think that's a crazy statement. They've been getting by. You can make the argument that the Clemson game was probably their best game so far. Um, both games in this playoff, they've scored 38 and 39 points, averaging about 38 and a half. Ohio State was 41 and 42. So we're averaging about 41 and a half. So we're at 3 points more. But I think I think where this game is won or lost, I think it starts with Ohio State's defensive line. I really think the defensive line has a chance to be important. In the group chat we're in, because we're always getting messages from our boys in the Go Bucks chat. I gotta credit the Buckeye Grove. He wrote this in our chat. He said, "My impact player to watch is our defensive tackles. Their right guard is not good. He was benched last week, and their first round tackle is banged up. And their first round tackle, that is, let me pull him up, is Kelvin Banks. He's always high in the mock drafts. I've always seen him like going probably top 10, believe it or not. And he's a dude, that guy. I'm not gonna lie. But the interior wise, they have some issues, and Ohio State, Tyleik Williams, brother, we know what he can do. We know what he's been doing.
Yep.
We know they've not been calling any holding penalties against when he's been clearly held. We have the ACC refs again. Maybe they're kind of on notice this time. They really can't. Texas is not as much of a threat as running the ball as I think Oregon was. I mean, believe it or not, Texas. You go back the past 3 games Ohio State's played. They played um, Oregon, Tennessee, Michigan. Texas, out of all those teams, is probably the worst running team.
Yeah.
You can make right. Am I crazy to
Yeah.
say? Because Ewers is not running the ball. Their quarterback's really not a threat to run it.
The only one that concerns me is Arch Manning.
I agree, and that's kind of the X factor. If Texas isn't really doing anything on offense, I definitely see Sark doing the Saban where he pulls Hurts and puts Tua in, but it's
especially if Texas's defense is having success against Ohio State's offense.
yes.
But I also think too, if Ohio State jumps out on a big lead like they have been against Tennessee and Oregon, I think Ewers is going to be done. They're going to throw Arch Manning out there and say, "Hey, let's see what we can do with Arch. Can we build on the future? Can we try to make this game more respectful either?"
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't think this game is going to. And this is, I know a lot of Buckeye fans are sitting here, you know, maybe outside of us are sitting here saying, I think we're going to jump on them like we have been against Oregon and Tennessee. I don't think we're going to struggle against Texas, but I also think Texas's offense is going to have a little bit more success than Oregon and Tennessee did.
I feel like we are due to actually get the ball in the second half this time. I know that Ryan Day it's been working. He's been taking the ball, going down, setting the. I have a feeling that Sark's going to want it. I usually the coin toss teams usually prefer to defer because you get the halftime adjustments. I
Right.
think both teams want to win this coin toss and go down the field. I think I have a funny feeling that we're going to end up getting the ball in the second half. The way this is going to go.
Yeah, because Tennessee won the toss deferred, and then we won the toss and deferred
Mm.
in the Rose Bowl against Oregon. I'm right there with you. I think Texas is going to win the toss and defer. Like if Texas wins the toss defer, I still think if Ohio State wins the toss, they're going to defer too as well. But I just
I mean,
think
receive.
I mean, but I like I think Texas is going to win this. Something's telling me Texas is going to win the toss and they're going to defer. But I still think if Ohio State wins, they're going to defer too. I think whoever wins the toss is going to defer.
Okay.
But I see what you're saying here. I just Arch Manning worries me. Like he really does. Like
Mhm.
he's a running quarterback. We haven't really seen his arm. And it's one of those situations. Jalen Hurts too, a thing that kind of reminds me of too. Either and what else worries me is can Ohio State keep this momentum going, which I think they do. Um, I just don't think Texas has enough offense to. If Ohio State starts scoring, Texas doesn't have enough offense to go firepower. Plus, if you watch a lot of the second half, if you watch the two Georgia games and the Arizona State game, Texas in the second half is not very good.
Yeah, and Ohio State is the best third quarter team in the country.
You know,
I mean, I don't know if that number has
I
changed.
yeah,
It was far into the season. It was like Ohio State was the best third quarter team by
and
far.
I feel too. This is a big TreVeyon catching the ball out of the backfield game,
Okay.
big G Scott game, and big Carnell Tate game because I think they are going to try their hardest to keep Jeremiah Smith and Emeka Buka out of this game.
I think they're gonna. I mean, I think Jeremiah Smith is gonna get the money, and I like with Jeremiah. He has been incredible the past couple games, but we also. I want to be realistic here. He's a freshman. There's a like he's got to hit a wall at some point. I think maybe he doesn't. Maybe I'm just wrong. Um, I think though they're really gonna key in on him. They have the assets on defense to do it. They have the Thorpe Award winner. They can cheat that safety over. I agree with you. I do think it's gonna be Tate. I think maybe Innis gets involved too, bro. He's been
Yeah,
making some
I
fantastic
think,
blocks.
and I think they're going to do what they kind of did too when Tennessee started cheating players over. I think they're going to TreVeyon's going to catch the ball out of the backfield as well.
Mhm.
I think TreVeyon and Quinshon are going to have big days because I think we'll be able to run against them again. Our offensive line against their defensive line. I just think if we can still get the Ryan Day fire that that we've had all playoff long, nobody's beating us. Nobody's going to beat us, and I think that's what's going to happen. I do think Texas does compete a little bit. I do have Ohio State covering that spread. I have Ohio State winning 34-24. I just don't think we're going to score as much as we did against Oregon and Tennessee, but we're still going to put up points because I just think there's just a different edge and different mindset. I'm not a Game of Thrones uh, fan. I haven't never watched Game of Thrones, but I understand what they're doing. They are doing everything. This is like a Game of Thrones thing. Especially they practiced outside today.
That was cool, bro. That
Like,
it's and the funniest part is like this game's gonna be indoors, it's gonna be in a dome, but like they are flexing their toughness. It's they've really questioned, ever since the Michigan game, I feel like the team has been questioned on so many things. They're really trying to prove they are tough. Um and it's gonna like the weather conditions in Dallas, it's so funny to me because Texas had to take a plane from Austin
yeah,
to Dallas, which is like a 2.5, 3 hour bus ride. Ridiculous to me. That's
45-minute flight, if that.
ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Took
Terrible
longer
for
to
the
heat up the
environment.
plane.
Yeah, terrible for the environment. Like it's like Taylor Swift going to go get groceries. Like it's just like it's insane. Uh, Meanwhile, we're practicing outdoors for a game that's going to be inside.
And if you're listening to us on Thursday, but we're recording on Wednesday, they are about to touch down in Dallas right now.
Which the weather's not supposed to be great. It's not really going to affect us because what happens in Texas, my good buddy Chris, who used to live in Texas, I don't know if he listens to this show, but if you're listening, love you, Chris. Um, Hung out, like, was with him at Roosters a couple of years ago. It was during that whole, like, Texas had a big snowstorm. It was like 2021, I think 2022. And he was explaining to me like if in Texas, if they get even like an inch of snow and some ice, the whole state shuts down. It's bad. Like they cannot handle winter at all down there. And I know this has no impact really on the game. It's just kind of funny though that like it could impact like the Buckeye fans will be fine because we know how to like deal with the snow and stuff. The Longhorn, it might impact the Longhorn fans getting to the Cotton Bowl, like some of them. But I know Buckeye Nation will be there
I
because we
mean,
know how to drive
if I
there.
had a credit card right now, I would buy the nosebleed ticket for $169 on the Buckeye side. Fly down, take the red eye, fly down there Thursday night, go to the game Friday, fly back Saturday morning. But I obviously I don't, but if I could, I would.
I feel if I if I didn't have Troy, have to worry about Troy, and we had a babysitter, I'd be in there, bro. Trust me.
Yeah, yeah,
um,
no doubt.
yeah. Um,
I said 34-24 Buckeyes win, and they get ready to go to the national championship to Atlanta. And yeah,
I'm gonna say Buckeyes in a nail biter, 28-27 in a classic.
thank
Uh,
God Jaden Feeling does not have to kick the game-winning field goal.
no, and honestly, the crazy part is fielding might be the better kicker in this matchup. If you pull up Burt Auburn's stats, bro, and I know he missed that one kick. He's been 100% from extra points, but on field goals this year, bro, um, he's only kicking 64%. 16 for 25 on the year. He's hasn't kicked one inside 20. He's 6 for 6 within 20 to 29 yards, 4 for 5 in the 30-39 yard range. And then he is, once it goes 40 and above, he is 40 to 49. He is 6 for 12, so 50%. And then he has not made anything past 50. Let me pull up fielding. Um, I'm positive fielding is at least in the 70s though with kicking. Um, yeah, fielding is 73.3% field goal, and actually, it's really not. He's not as bad when you look at it, bro. Fielding,
He just was really bad against Texas. I mean, Michigan.
fielding when he's kicking the longer range, 40 to 49, he's 6 for 7. Auburn is 50%. Fielding's pretty much
So
pretty
we
good.
force. So we're going to force Texas into field goals.
I mean, I would do that. That's winning football. Bend don't break. Um, but yeah, bro, it's gonna be a close one. I'm not gonna lie, I am nervous.
I am too.
I know my boy Buckeye Grove in our chat. He did run the simulation, and his simulations have been money so far. I don't think he's gotten one wrong in this whole playoff, which is insane. And he said he ran the simulation 90% of the time. Ohio State did win this. His prediction was because I'm just going with my boy Buckeye Grove because he's been really good. He ran the simulation. He said 75,000 times, and he got it 34-20 Buckeyes, and then in the simulation they won 90% of the time. So this could be the 10% of the time. Like if they play
Yeah.
nine, if they play 10 times, they win nine, and it's like the whole miracle speech. Texas can easily win this game. I respect Texas, and they're a great team,
Yeah.
and I'm
Great program.
absolutely nervous. I love the way we're playing, but I'm also like in the back of my head, I'm like, nothing's a given right now. You
And
got
SEC.
Yeah, and the SEC's not dead. I'll say that. Everyone's saying, "Oh, SEC's dead. SEC's dead." Not so fast, my friend. They are
Yeah.
alive.
And
They
Lee Corso picked Texas to win the national title.
Yeah, and they got a
But
home
he's
game.
been wrong a lot too. So
They have a home game. This is a home game for them. Like
yep.
this is a de facto home game. I know Buckeye Nation will be there. I know they'll show out like always, but this is literally like us playing a playoff game in Cincinnati or like
Oh.
Cleveland. It's insane.
It almost makes us want to be playing in the Orange Bowl. So speaking of the Orange Bowl, how awkward was that media media picture I sent you? Oh my lord!
Yeah, dude. This game. I mean, we will end up watching this tomorrow after we get done with the basketball game because we're going to Oregon, the Oregon Ohio State game, which is gonna be great. And we're gonna probably go somewhere to eat and watch the rest of this game. Um, I'm conflicted. I have no idea what to make of this game. I
I like Notre Dame. I think Marcus Freeman's a better coach. I do think Penn State has better quarterback. Um, but if Abdul Carter can't go,
That's
could
huge.
be a long night for Penn State. I believe he'll go though. But I like Notre Dame because I like the coaching. I think Marcus Freeman outcoached Kirby Smart in the Sugar Bowl. And I think it's destined to have Notre Dame versus Ohio State or Notre Dame versus Texas in the national championship. Especially after right in front, right next to Marcus Freeman, James Franklin. No disrespect to being the head coach at Notre Dame, but I believe everybody should be in a conference.
I also have Notre Dame because I think the difference will be Riley Leonard's legs.
Yeah.
I don't think either quarterback.
And this
And
final score is going to be like 17-14 or
yeah, it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be like the Army Navy game almost. It's gonna be like a lot of running.
23-20.
I think Penn State has advantages. Their offensive line is a lot bigger and better than Notre Dame's defensive line. Notre Dame's defensive line is missing their defensive tackle, and they're a small defensive line. They're a great defensive line. We saw what they did to Georgia, but they're smaller. They can be bullied at times. And I think Penn State's game, after looking at this, Penn State, and they've got a little better with this in the past couple weeks. They've hit some deeper shots, but their passing game for the most part, it's not anything above 20 yards. I rarely see them hit a deep shot. That's where Notre Dame
They
struggles.
don't have a wide receiver. They
Yeah.
have two good running backs and a tight end.
And Notre Dame's defense is built to defend a style like that. I think that's what Notre Dame does very well. I believe that kind of plays into Notre Dame's hands. And the difference is on the defense on the flip side, it's kind of like the same situation. The only difference is Riley Leonard is a threat to run. Now, apparently, Love, the back for Notre Dame, he's a little banged up, but I think he's gonna go. It's just they're gonna monitor his carries because he has a dinged up knee. But Faison, that receiver, and lacrosse player, he's fantastic. He's
Yeah.
he's he's slowly emerged as like a really good player for Notre Dame. So it's good. I have Notre Dame too. I'll say by 3. I think also the difference is the special teams. I think Notre Dame has the better special teams.
Yeah. I think so too. Um, you know what's weird, Dan, is usually this time of the year we're getting ready for the Chris Holtman blues. It is
Yeah,
so nice to be talking football and still with one, maybe potentially 2 games left.
I haven't even
It's so nice.
I know I know Ohio State played Minnesota 2 nights ago.
I forgot it was on.
I was
I've
so
been
tired.
so locked on football.
I'm still, yeah, we're still in football mode. Like I've not even like looked other than watching the Kentucky game when they Ohio State played Kentucky. I have like tomorrow's really our intro to basketball season because I we've been so go 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 with football and like just the playoffs have been such a grind so far. I haven't focused really much into basketball, which I'm excited to kind of get into that. Um, yeah, usually this is the Holtman slide, but Diebler got the job done in Minnesota. He got it done. It wasn't pretty, but it was
Can't
in overtime and it was in January on the road. It's a
yeah.
great win.
But against the worst Big Ten team, and also, I mean, we don't know who the worst Big Ten team
We
is
don't
right
know
now.
that yet.
Yeah, but I mean, tomorrow they play Oregon. I'm just mad at Fanatics because my Rose Bowl championship shirt won't be here in time for the game, but that's okay. To the 5 Oregon fans that probably will be there, that's not family. Um, um, it's going to be there because right now Oregon fans are they're kind of leaning on the Michigan fans right now because um, they they don't know how to react right now. They got their butt tails whipped, and I don't even think Ungalele's dad is Big Mike is uh
Big
spoke.
Dave.
Big Dave is spoken.
I
I
think he's
haven't looked.
leading a
I
lot of
haven't checked.
tweets. I think
I
he's the
haven't checked either.
what was Donovan Jackson's dad, I think went in on
Yeah.
just absolutely bodied him.
Yeah. So I'm excited for the games this week. I'm excited how even though my Bengals didn't make the playoffs, I'm excited for the NFL playoffs this week. And I mean, I will go to my grave right now and say the Chiefs threw that game against Denver. I mean, I know you're excited for the Broncos to make the playoffs, but
I mean,
it is what it is.
you're not wrong. Someone
But
someone
you can't lose to the New England Patriots week 1. That's why we're not in playoffs.
someone said I think it was part of my take. They explained that it wouldn't make sense for them to throw that game now because the the Bengals then would have to play the Bills,
Which I think the Bengals could beat the Bills.
which the Bills are arguably a bigger threat than the Bengals this year.
Well, the Bengals are built to beat Kansas City and Buffalo.
Yeah.
That's
So
why I like my brother. He's a Steelers fan. He's like, look, I don't think we're going to beat Baltimore, but he's like, but don't be surprised if we do because we're built to beat Baltimore.
yeah, I'm a Broncos fan. I'm sorry to all the Bengals fans. Like I
Shouldn't lose
feel
to New England. Should not lost to New England.
but I'm just really excited because we're back in the playoffs and I this is the first we haven't been to the playoffs since my junior year of college and
Since
I'm
you
a
won the
30-year
Super
old
Bowl,
yeah, I'm a 30-year-old man now. So this is I'm just a lot has happened since we've been to the last time we've been to the playoffs. So I'm very happy. I believe I'm a believer. He's great. Bo Nix, put some respect on his name. Sean Payton should win coach should be at least a front like a top 2 or 3 candidate for
if
coach.
Jim Harbaugh wins Coach of the Year, I'll be mad.
That's ridiculous in my opinion. Like the Broncos were projected to win
I
like
think Minnesota's coach should win Coach of the Year.
O'Connell really should. Yeah, I agree. Like
So
Denver was projected to win 4 to 5 games max. That was like that was the totals that were set, and they went ahead and they with the roster with a rookie quarterback with a solid defense, but a bunch of these guys are like no name young rookies and like undrafted free agents and like late round picks, and with like 90 million in dead cap from Russell Wilson, and the Broncos did it, and it's a feel good story. It really is. Like I was not expecting us to be this competitive this year, and I'm very happy. And it just shows you too, like you don't need 5 years for a rebuild. You really need a 1 maybe 2 years.
yeah, I think I do think two or three road teams are going to win this weekend. Um, I don't think the Broncos will. I'm sorry,
We'll
but
know. We'll know. I think with the Broncos, we will know by 1:30 how that game's gonna go. They're either gonna pull off the upset or they're gonna lose by 30. There's no in between.
yeah, I think Washington's going to beat Tampa, and I think the Chargers are going to beat Houston, unfortunately, and that's even going to fuel even more Michigan fans saying that he's going to go 0-3 against Harbaugh. And I
Oh,
just
I didn't
think,
even think of that. Yeah, we got to cheer for Stroud. Stroud for sure.
yeah, I just don't think Houston will have enough.
But it's
That
kind of
offensive line,
ridiculous that narrative though, because it's like there's so many Buckeyes on that Chargers team. They just signed Zeke too. It's Zeke,
yeah,
Dobbins, Bosa. Uh, who else am I missing? It's just like there's a bunch of Buck. I feel Dobbins. Did I say Dobbins? Yeah.
yeah.
Uh, there's a couple Buckeyes on that team, and like they play key roles. So
Isn't Jordan Fuller? No, he was on the Rams.
I think he's on the Panthers now.
How how he's having a good career, isn't he?
He won a Super Bowl. Yeah, he's having a great career.
Yeah, he won a Super Bowl that they shouldn't have won.
Oh, I'm sorry, bro. That's a touchy subject. Yeah,
All
Fuller.
right, okay. Dobbins, uh, Zeke, Joey Bosa, and that's it.
I'm looking real quick. I think that's it.
Eli Apple,
Oh yeah, Eli Apple, bro.
he's on the IR though. Still on
Yeah,
the team.
I feel like there's someone else random, or am I? No, am I just crazy? I guess I am.
KJ Hill was on that team, but
I feel like Where's Tommy Togiai? What team is he on?
he's on the Texans.
Really?
Yeah,
This is a Houston Texans podcast now.
Cade Stover, CJ Stroud, Tommy Togiai.
Rumor has it Tommy Togiai suiting up in Dallas
Hey,
this weekend. Got
he
all the
isn't. Well, no, he's gonna be at. Well, no, he is in Texas.
First reported by Bunch of Notes podcast, Tommy Togiai is in Texas this week. He is
He's
probably
in a big city in Texas,
he is in a big city in Texas this week.
and he will play this weekend.
Will be playing in Texas this weekend.
Uh, I,
Not
I do want to say prayers are out to the Rose Bowl right now as they are
yes,
bracing for these wildfires. And there's rumors that the Rams
like
pack is it Vikings game could
yeah.
be moved to the Cardinals stadium.
Wow, yeah, that's crazy.
Why don't you keep it in California and put it in San Francisco?
I don't know. It just shows you though, like I hope the Rose Bowl is okay. I hope everyone in California is all right. Obviously, prayers to you. Not much we can do, unfortunately. I'm not a firefighter, but
How about we dig some of the snow out and put it in a ice truck and melt
we
it over California?
we will just get a plane. Texas can send the plane that they used to get to the
Just send
stadium.
a fan that
We'll
way.
just shovel all the snow in and just dump it. No, but prayers to California. We got a minute here. That's all I got.
That's all I got.
Go Bucks, baby.
If you're coming to the shot tomorrow, find us in Huntington Park.
Yep.
Huntington.
And all I gotta say is hordes down, go Bucks. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Bunch of Nuts podcast. Beat Texas.